Hi, I'm Judy with Amazing Trails Yoga doing Heartfelt Yoga. Today we are focusing on, but not limited to, opening the heart, the chest, the shoulders, the back. We work on the hips, and we are leading up to doing RockStar and having a whole lot of fun. So just get ready, grab your mat, and join us. We will start seated at the back of our mats in toes pose, sitting on your heels, sitting on the balls of your feet with 10 toes pointed toward the top of the mat. Going to connect with the breath. Inhale your arms up. Exhale down, bending at the elbow into cactus. Inhale your arms up, palms together. Exhale down into cactus. Inhale up, shining the heart forward. Exhale down into cactus. Come to the top of your feet with your hands back. Lift your knees for a nice counter stretch. And bring your knees down with your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers. Inhale your hearts forward, straightening your arms. Exhale, coming down with your third eye to the mat. Arms up overhead. Inhale, coming up, shining your hearts forward. Exhale, down. Arms up overhead, nice and straight. Inhale, coming up. Opening your hearts. And exhale, coming down. Third eye to the mat, arms up overhead. Inhale, coming up, unlace your fingers and bring your arms forward into a child's pose. Inhale, coming up into cow, dropping your udders toward the mat. Your heart is forward. Exhale, arching your back, very much sitting back on your heels. Inhale, coming up into cow. Your shoulder blades are pulled backwards, udders toward the mat. Exhale, back into cat, bringing the navel to the spine. Inhale, rounding up into cow. Nice deep breath in and exhale back into cat, sitting on your heels. Make your way into tabletop. Have your hands directly under your elbows, under your shoulders. Extend your left leg back, stretching the calf. Draw your left leg over to your right behind you. Look over your right shoulder. Take your right hand. Connect with your left leg. Your hand comes back to table as you draw your left leg around behind you. Drop your heel. Take your right hand and touch anywhere on your left leg that you can. Your hand comes back to table as we draw your left leg around behind you. Again, the right hand connects with the back leg. Hand into table as you draw your left leg around. Drop the heel, take your right hand and connect with your leg. Hand comes to tabletop, bring your left leg around behind you. Again, connect with your leg. Maybe you can go down a little bit lower. Hand back to table, your left leg comes around. Drop your heel, take your right hand and connect. Your hand comes back to table. Walk your hands, 2 handprints in front. Come over to the ball of your foot and sit back on your back right heel. We're leading up to this nice deep stretch. Should feel really good. Inhale. Exhale. Never hold your breath. Never forget to breathe. And coming up, you may want to roll the mat a bit so that you have some cushioning under your right knee. And we're coming up into gate. Take your left arm and bring it down your left leg as you draw your right arm up overhead, up to the skies. Extend over your right ear, nice deep side stretch in preparation for our RockStar. Look up toward the sky, shine your heart toward the sky. And bring your right arm down toward the right side. Your left arm comes up toward the sky. Right overhead, extended over your left ear. Beautiful. Bring your left arm down, around in front. You could roll back the mat. We're coming into tabletop. Hands again under our elbows, under our shoulders. Extend your right leg out behind you, stretching the Achilles tendon, the calf. Take your right leg and bring it over to the left. Look over your left shoulder. With your left hand, connect with your leg. Your left hand comes back to table as you draw your right leg around to the side, a big circle. Drop the heel, take your left hand and connect anywhere on your right leg that you can. Your hand comes back to table, bring your right leg around behind you, big circle. Take your left hand and connect with your back leg. Your hand comes back to table as you draw your right leg around. Drop the heel, take your left hand and connect. Left hand comes back to table, draw your right leg around behind you. Again, we connect with our back leg. Place your left hand in table, your right leg comes around. We drop our heel, walk your hands 2 handprints in front. Come to the ball of your back heel, your left heel, and you're sitting back on it. Deep inner thigh stretch. Enjoy the stretch. This normally feels so good. Always breathe. And we're coming back up again. You could roll the mat so that you have a bit of cushioning under your left knee. Coming up into gate. Take your right hand down your right leg as you bring your left arm up overhead. Bring it over your left ear. Look up toward the sky. Open your heart. And take your left hand down to the left side as your right arm comes up to the sky. Bring it over your right ear, extend. Getting ready for RockStar. Bring your right arm down, around in front. You could roll back the mat. And very nice, come into tabletop. Extend your legs, straighten your legs so that you are in a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale into plank. Drop knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog. And come over to the balls of your feet. Sit back on your heels. And downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look between your hands and bring your left foot up between them. Lunge upwards any way you can. Drop your right knee to the mat. Bring your arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers. And you're straightening your back leg as you bring your sternum to your thigh. Your hands come up overhead. Our goal is to have our chin to our shin. And bending our back leg, we're bringing our shoulder blades back, our heart extending forward. And again, we bring our sternum to our thighs. We straighten our back leg. Our hands come up overhead, chin to shin. And we gently drop our right knee, bringing our shoulder blades back. Our heart is forward. And straighten your back leg. Your sternum comes to your thigh. Arms up overhead, chin to shin. And gently drop your right knee to the mat. Take your right hand to the mat or a block as you bring your left arm forward, up and around in a big swimmer circle. Connect with your back leg. You can bend your leg, grab your foot anywhere on your back leg that you like. And then a big forward swimmer circle. Take your left forearm to the mat or to a block. And bring it around again, a big back stroke. Connect with your back, right leg, your foot, anywhere you like. And a big swimmer circle forward. Your forearm comes to the mat or a block. One last time, a big back stroke around behind you. Connect with your back right leg, your foot. And a forward big swimmer circle. Take your forearm to the block or the mat. Your right arm can join your left so that we are in a lizard on our forearms. Again, utilize the block to bring the ground closer to you. Or your forearms can be in a deeper stretch on the mat. Breathing into lizard. A really fun, beautiful animal. And take both hands to the mat. Take your left leg back into a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale into plank. Drop knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog. And coming over to the balls of your feet, sit back on your heels and downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look between your hands and lunge your right foot up. Drop your left knee to the mat. Coming up, we'll take our arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers. And we're straightening our back left leg as we bring our sternum to our thigh, arms up overhead. Again, our goal is to get chin to shin. Drawing our shoulder blades back, we bend our leg at the knee, rest your knee, shine your heart forward. And again, we're straightening our back left leg. A lot of things happening. Our sternum comes to our thighs, arms up overhead, chin to shin. And rest your left knee on the mat. Shine your hearts forward. Straighten your back leg, sternum to your thigh, arms up overhead, chin to shin. And dropping our left knee gently to the mat, coming up, our hearts are forward. Unlace your fingers. Take your left hand to a mat or a block. Your right arm comes forward, up and around in a big back stroke. Connect with your back left leg. You could bend your leg at the knee, maybe grab your foot, whatever works for you. And a big forward circle coming forward. Take your right forearm to the block or a mat. Your arm comes up in a big back stroke around behind you. Connect with your back leg. And bring your right arm forward, big swimmer circle. Your forearm comes to the block or a mat. And one last time, a big backstroke circle with your arm. Connect to your back right leg, maybe your foot. Releasing, bring your right arm forward, big swimmer circle. Your forearm can come to the block or a mat. Your left forearm will join it into a lizard. Enjoy the deep stretch. And come to your hands. Bring your right leg back to meet your left in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to come into a plank and slowly go down into chaturanga. You could do knees, chest, chin if you like. To the tops of your feet, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale your left leg up. Stack your hips. You're going to bend your leg at the knee. Look under your left arm. Now take your left heel and think that it is very heavy. You're bringing it around behind you ever so gently. As you connect with the floor, you're lifting your left arm up to the sky. Open your heart, your hips, your pelvis. And we're coming to a seated position facing the back of the mat. Your left leg is pointed up, your knee is pointed up toward the sky, and you will cross your left leg over your right. Take your left hand around behind you, your right arm comes up, and bring your right arm to the outside of your left thigh, looking over your left shoulder. Seated spinal twist. You're breathing. Remember your posture. Breathe into your lungs. Great way to detox. You might even feel a little popping sensation. You are releasing as you face your right foot. Take your left leg, the sole of your left foot, you could bring it to the inside of your thigh and have a seated tree, or you can go for a deeper stretch and take your right leg, cross it over your left, stack your knees. So we're coming into a half cow. Inhale your arms up in either position facing your right foot, your right flexed foot, and we're coming down. Breathing, looking at our foot. Maybe you could rest your chin on your knee this time. Third eye toward your shin. You could use blocks to support your forearms, whatever works. Bring the earth closer to you. Another breath. And we're slowly coming up. Take your arms over to the right as you twist around and make your way into a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale on the tops of your feet into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale your right leg up. Open your hips, stack your hips, bend your leg at the knee. Look under your right shoulder. Now we're going to pretend that our right heel is very, very heavy as we bring it around behind us, opening our hearts up to the sky, your arm up to the sky, hips, pelvis, opening up into a RockStar. And dropping your seat to the mat. Again, you are facing the back of your mat. Your right leg is bent up. So take your foot and cross it over your extended left leg. Your right arm comes around behind you. Inhale your left arm up and bring your arm, your elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Look over your right shoulder. Seated spinal twist. Really, really good for the spine to move it in various positions. If we fall, we can bend and not break. Deep breath. Releasing, looking towards your right or your left foot. Take the sole of your right foot and you could put it on the inside of your left thigh into a seated tree. Or for a more challenging stretch, you could cross your right leg over your left, stack your right knee on top of your left. Either position, inhale your arms up and exhale into a forward fold. Looking at your flexed foot. You could maybe bring your forearms down to the mat onto a block. Bring the earth closer to you. Chin toward your knee. Third eye toward your shin, whatever works for you. You do not have to come down too far. We're coming up. Take your arms over toward the left, your hands to the mat, and bring your legs around behind you. Make your way back into a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your hands back towards your feet into a Uttanasana forward fold. One vertebrae at a time, we're making our way up into a Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale your arms up overhead, palms together. Take your right hand and we're bringing it down your right side. Nice side bend. Again, it's great for the spine. Your left arm is overhead. You do not have to come down too far, it does not matter. Any stretch for the spine is good. Looking up, shine your heart up to the sky. Beautiful pose. And we're slowly making our way back up with our arms up toward the sky, palms together. And we'll drop our left hand gracefully down our left side. Right arm extended up overhead. Looking up toward the sky, shining our hearts open. Put your heart into this, your very soul, your being. In everything you do. And we're bringing our left arm back up toward our right. Palms together, snow angel your arms down. Come into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Take your hands to the mat and walk your hands forward into the downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look between your hands and lunge your left foot up between them. Drop your right heel to the mat, and we're coming up into Virabhadrasana 1. Palms together, warrior 1. Take big swimmer circle with both arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers. Make sure your hips are squared off toward the front of the mat as we drop our shoulders toward the inside of our left knee. So your left shoulder should be connected to your left knee, the crown of your head toward the mat, arms extended up overhead, arms straight. We are in a humble warrior. Breathe ever so humble. Unlacing your fingers, we'll take our left hand to a block to the mat to your foot. Your right arm comes around behind you, big swimmer circle up to the sky in a side angle. Opening our hearts. Extend your arm over your head. And bring it down to the mat. Take your left foot, bring it back to meet your right in the downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your foot, looking between your hands. We'll lunge it forward to the front of the mat. Drop your left heel to the mat. Palms together. We're coming up into Virabhadrasana 1. Very lovely. Bring your arms around behind you. A big back stroke. Interlace your fingers. Square off your hips toward the front of the mat. And we're coming forward. Take your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Arms are straightening and up overhead as you drop the crown of your head toward the mat. Humble warrior. Be us ever so humble. Breathe into this deep stretch. Unlacing your fingers, take your right hand to the block, to the mat, to your foot. Your left arm, a big backstroke around behind you. Your arm comes up to the sky. Open your hearts. Extend your left arm over your head. Extended side angle. Bring it down, around in front. Lift up your back heel and your right foot comes back to meet your left. Downward dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your hands up, or walk your hands back to meet your feet. You are in a Uttanasana, forward fold. Take your arms around behind you, interlace your fingers, straighten your arms up overhead, the crown of your head toward the mat. Drop your hips, your arms come down, unlace your fingers. They come up and around as you stand up. Cactus your arms, open your heart, and bring your arms back around behind you. Interlace your fingers, bend your legs at the knees. A lot going on. We're dropping the crown of our heads toward the mat. Your arms extend over, legs are straightened. We'll do that again. You're bending your legs at the knees, unlacing your fingers, bringing them up, forward, and around, a back stroke. Open up into cactus, open your heart. And reverse, a big circle in front. Bending your legs at the knees, your arms behind you. Interlace your fingers as now you draw your hips up toward the sky, straightening your legs, crown of your head toward the mat, arms extended overhead. And drop in your seat. We'll unlace your fingers, bring them up and around, standing. We're coming into cactus. Open your heart. And bringing your arms forward, big circles behind you. Interlace your fingers. You're straightening your arms as you straighten your legs, crown of your head toward the mat. We'll do that one more time now that we're getting it. Take your arms around behind you, unlacing your fingers, dropping your seat while your seat is dropped. You're bringing it up, 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 around. Cactus, your arms are standing, hearts forward. And bring your arms around behind you again. Interlace your fingers, straighten your legs, straighten your arms, crown of your head toward the mat. And we're bringing our arms down behind us, and you're bending your legs at the knees and come to the mat. We are going to do the mother of all heart openers. Roll your mat a few times so that you have some cushioning for your knees. We're coming into cactus. So you are sitting on your knees, on your shins. Take your hands around behind you into makeshift pockets. You are pushing your pelvis forward, your shoulder blades back, your elbows back, shining your heart to the sky. This is a good enough pose for many of us. If you like, you could come to the balls of your feet and straightening your arms. You're finding your heels for a support for your hands. Your hands can rest on your heels as you shine your heart even further. If you want more, you could look up toward the sky. You could even drop the crown of your head behind you toward the mat. Rest your head in the nape of your neck. If you want even more, you could be at the tops of your feet. Whatever works for you, we're all at a different level. Don't forget to breathe, shining our hearts, opening our hearts to the world. to ourselves. Coming up, we're slowly coming up. Put your hands in your makeshift pockets. Coming up. Take a nice breath as we are sitting on our knees, on our shins. And coming toward our heels, we're sitting on our heels, rolling the mat back to where it was. Separate your knees to the sides of the mat. Sit back on your heels and make your way into a child's pose to neutralize the spine. Take a nice breath. Walk your hands over to the left. You might want to pick up all your goodness and rest them on your left thigh. Keep your seat on your heels. Third eye comes down a ways. Walking your hands back toward the front of the mat and coming over to the right. Again, you could pick up all your goodness rested on your right thigh. Your seat is on your heels, a nice side stretch. And we're walking forward to the top of the mat, child's pose. Going to lift your hips and shimmy your way forward on your abdomen. Extend your arms out to a T. We are going to do a reclined RockStar. Take your left hand and place it by your left shoulder. Bend your left leg at the knee. We're going to straighten your left arm as you pick up your left knee. Bring it around behind you. Place your sole of your foot behind you. Reclined RockStar. This is good. You can lift your left arm up toward the sky if you like. If you want even more, bring it around behind you. Connect with your right arm. Opening your heart. Reclined RockStar. We've had it. We are reclining now, all of us rock stars. Really good for your chest, your back, your rotator cuffs, shoulders. If your left arm is back, bring it around over to the left as you bring your left leg back to meet your right. Nice T shape for your body. Take your right hand under your right shoulder. Bend your right leg at the knee. Straighten your right arm as you take your right leg over across your body. Your right knee should be faced up toward the sky. You could stay as is or inhale your right arm up toward the sky, maybe around behind you to connect with your left hand. Wherever you are is good. Opening your heart. Reclined RockStar. Breathing. Winding down. Whatever goals you have in life, put your heart into them. Wherever your right arm is, bring it around and place it on the mat. Your right leg comes back. And we'll end up with our pelvis down into a T shape for our bodies. Very nice. Take both hands. We'll come up into the high cobra. And picking up your seat, we're making our way onto our backs any way you like. Legs extended. Draw your left leg into your chest. With both hands on your knee, you can bring it up by your armpit, a nice little stretch. Take your right hand to your knee, your left arm extended out to the side. Cross your left leg across your body. Pulling your knee down toward the side. Look over your left shoulder, spinal twist, a reclined spinal twist. We did a seated spinal twist, now reclined. We hit all the different fibers. Looking up to the sky, we'll bring our left knee back. Your right knee comes forward as you extend your left leg, pulling your right knee up toward your armpit. Take your left hand on your knee. You're going to draw it across your body as your right arm comes out to the side. Look over your right shoulder toward the right. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the mat. With the shoulder blades on the mat, you should be opening your hearts. Bringing your right knee back, and you're going to extend your right leg out to the side and take your blocks and take one block between your shoulder blades on the lowest side, and you're resting your back on that. Take the other block as a pillow for your head. Cactus your arms, your palms are faced up toward the sky. My blocks are about half the size as my other one, so I'm taking the block out from under my head. You could do whatever works for you, whatever length, whatever size. Great heart opener. Coming into a shavasana. Breathing into our lungs, out of our lungs. You could very gently remove the blocks out from under you. Come to either side. Make your way up into Sukhasana, cross-legged position. Cross your hands over your hearts. And thank you so much for joining Amazing Trails Yoga here at the Minkus Family Farm, an onion farm. They graciously opened it to us. Good friends. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. Make sure you like us. We love you. Subscribe. Namaste.